These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history so these psychopathic parasites could build their fake world. Those Queen's Guards parading are a global crime scene. That towering headdress isn't a military hat. They stole that style directly from the Moors of the Kazan Khanate in Great Tartary. In advanced Asiatic civilization, they tried to nuke from your memory. Those bearskin hats are nothing but a ritualistic imitation of the thick natural hair, those massive afros grown by the original Hibachi nobility, the true Obashis, who sat on the thrones of Europe while these people lived in caves. See, the ancestors of these people you call Europeans today were the white Obashis, former slaves of the Hibachi, who couldn't grow that crown of power because their biosynthesis failed them. They were pale melanin, mutants who had to glue animal fur and lamb's wool to their skulls just to mimic the lords they deposed. That's our shit they're cosplaying. When Bob Marley sang about crazy bald heads, he was exposing the castrato class. He was talking about the Mameluke and Janissary slave soldiers who were ritually castrated, losing their testosterone and their hair, becoming the gilded eunuchs who build the penitentiaries and schools to lobotomize your mind. Today, these bloodlines, the Orsini, Medici, and Rothschilds, align with the satanic banking cartels that funded Epstein's List and global human trafficking. It's all part of a gollywog ritual, a theater of mockery, where they dress in the habits of the people they slaughtered, being you, to ensure the original people stay mentally dead. They snatched your headdress from the Kazan to fake the natural glory of the ancient Moors and Hebrews. The high-status nobility of the millennial reign knew the truth. Growing your hair out was the divine covenant of a peak human being. Moorish empresses and royalty grew their natural hair, those massive, beautiful afros, as a sign of supreme status and genetic frequency. They've tried to erase every memory of these beautiful Moors through iconoclasm and whitewashed history because their own biosynthesis failed them. You wonder why the barber shop is the biggest institution in our community? Because the system socialized you to pay money to trash your own godhood. Hair is an extension of your central nervous system, a literal antenna for your soul, and a divine covenant. The corporate system and the prisons force you to shave to disconnect you from your awareness and your royalty. While you're in that chair throwing your power away, the Ashkenazi is in the Shiva growing his locks out, rocking the Horus lock, because he knows the blessing you were tricked into hating. That Horus lock, that's ours. They repurpose your palaces after the historical resets. They wear your crowns and mimic your hair because they know that crown was the mark of a god-man on earth.
Trillions?
Yes, trillions in ancient trust belong to black people. It is a whitewashed narrative to disinherit the true heirs of the empire.
Your Highness, are you saying the original nobles were black people?
The real nobility, the original European royalty, were Moors. They've hidden this history to maintain control over trillions of dollars. These Moors were present on both sides of the Atlantic, ruling from old America to the courts of Europe.
The Moors were all over the fucking world, ruling from Tartary to the Americas, not just from North Africa. Then we came along as Mamelukes and Castratos and fucked it all up by burying the truth of the Asiatic...
If you look at the coats of arms within these very walls, you see the truth they've tried to repaint. The original European royalty were Moors.
The Moors were doing so much fucking in Europe, trying to help us to get rid of our animal gene. They were trying to civilize the wild white men by grafting their divine blood into the recessive DNA.
But the names George, Charles, Charlotte, surely these aren't Moorish?
They were all black nobility names first. The stewards simply assumed the titles of their masters to disinherit the true heirs. The names are masks: Windsor, Sassoon, Habsburg and Medici, all Moorish families that civilized Europa long before the historical reset. You want to know a secret? Dirty Diana wasn't a metaphor. It was personal. Michael tried to tell you he was Moorish nobility. Why do you think we hooked up? Dirty Diana wasn't a metaphor. It was personal. Michael wrote it because we were closer than the world was ever allowed to know. We had fallen in love. I loved Michael. Truth doesn't need permission. The Moors ruled the world with shared gold from South America, where Aztec kings like Montezuma were Moorish sovereigns. The wealth of the Inca Empire was bonded to the Old World through figures like King Charles.
Every culture around the world, all Moors first. And Moor doesn't mean just North Africa, Muslims. They're the indigenous Americans. It was a global Moorish empire. The original European nobility were all Moors, so-called black people. They ran all of Europe and Asia and America.
1968. This pillar was put right here. When I move this side here, I am in Burkina Faso. When I move one step this way, I am in Ghana. Like right here. And the Berlin Conference put a line right here, separating the people that are this side as Ghanaians and the people that are this side as Burkinabe people, Burkina Faso. Literally, if you can look on the ground right here, the man who is farming his groundnuts, he is crossing between Burkina Faso and Ghana. I don't know where this man must pay his taxes to. I don't know where this man must get his passport for. Whether he must get his passport here to sell his goods over here, or he must get his passport here to sell his goods over here. But literally, this block of wood put by Berlin Conference here, 1968, separates the Bisa people from each other. This way is Togo, that is Burkina Faso, and this is Ghana. All separated by a block of concrete. And literally, I can say, Burkinabe, Ghana, Burkinabe, Ghana, Burkinabe, Ghana. So where am I?
Come on, let's go.
This is the mischief and the nonsense of the Berlin Conference.
White people came to Africa. They came showing themselves as superior to the black people, digging out things that black people taught them. You know, what we don't have in our history books is that the civilization we have in Europe today was brought to us by black people. Even black people don't know that. Even many black people don't know that. They don't know that the Moors, they were West Africans and North Africans and Central Africans that came to Europe and ruled Spain. They brought civilization to us. They showed us how to use soap, how to be clean, how to behave like a decent human being, you know. All these things we didn't know that before the Moors brought civilization to Spain. Did you know that the Moors ruled in Spain for 700 years? Where is that in our history books? It's nowhere to be found. Because why? If you are giving black people that power of having once ruled over white people, wouldn't black people start like kind of questioning, oh, we were once at that point of having such a power in a white man's country over white people, and where are we now? So of course they have to hide that history from you people, because knowing your true history is knowing your true power, and knowing your true power means you will break out from that system of racism.
Based on ignorance, when a doctor becomes a doctor, he takes what is called the Hippocratic Oath, the Oath of Hippocrates, a Greek man who studied in Africa under the man called Imhotep. The Greeks called him Acleopius, where he swears by the god Apollo and Acleopius. Apollo, the god of Ethiopia. You know,
Apollo was the other side.
God of Ethiopia. Go and read Homer. Go and read Herodotus and see where all the Greek gods came from. You know, but medicine comes from Africa. That's why a doctor takes the Hippocratic Oath in honor of Imhotep, the father of medicine. If you look at all medical scripts, the Rhine mathematical, the Carlsberg 1 to Carlsberg 47, you know, the Ebers Papyrus, the Edwin Smith Papyrus, these are all medical scripts from Africa. It was, in fact, the first cesarean operation. If you go to the Scottish Museum, was performed in Buganda. You know, and the script in the Scottish Museum says Baganda surgeons were performing his routine skills. This was no fluke. Nowhere in the world did, in 17th, 18th century, did the person survive a cesarean operation other than here in Buganda.
Thank you.